Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Righty. We have a series of resignations, so I'm just going to go through those. They're informational only. We have Mark Joella from Murns Lane. He resigned on April 18th. Anne Marie Laganese, Steep Hill Road, resigned on May 22nd. Sam Cargill is resigning from the Harbor Management Commission, effective on June 2nd. And Land Acquisition, Nick Mirabli, resigned on May 25th. And I just want to thank all of them for their service on these boards and commissions. Some of them are picking up other positions, and that's why they're dropping off. And some are just having some personal issues. And so I just want to thank them for their time and service to the town.
I echo your thanks to all of them for their service, and to those continuing on in different capacities, best of luck.
Okay, so our item number 4, we have our Fairfield Arts Advisory Committee finally being appointed. And we worked closely with Selectwoman Lefkowitz. She had a lot of input and interest in this. And so we have our members here, and I'm just going to ask for a motion to approve to the Fairfield Arts Advisory Committee: Sam Cargill, Connor Dean, Sam Goldstein, Kevin Goslin, Clara Heumann, Kathleen Lang, Charles McDonald, and Matthew, help me out.
Ostriker.
Thank you. And Christine Orlando. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, very good. I believe we have most, if not all, of the commission members in the room. And so I just would first like to say thank you for stepping up. It was actually, I couldn't believe how much interest we got in this. I wish we had this kind of interest in other boards and commissions. It was a lot of good people who applied, and so we put our heads together and reviewed all of them. And this is, I think, an important component for our town, but it also allows us to apply for some grant funding to have this commission in place, which I think is also vitally important. If anybody who's appointed like to come up and say a few words, it's up to you. I'll open up the floor. Everybody's just looking at me. No. Oh, no, I don't want to.
Well, I'll just tell you that my name is Lou Schumann, not Clara Schumann.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay, I'm Clara Louisa, but I go by Lou, and everybody in town knows me as Lou Brenda.
Gotcha.
It's okay, we're appointing your daughter.
It's the way.
We'll
It's
tell her
the way
tomorrow.
she put it in here. I apologize.
No problem.
Okay.
So happy to be involved.
Well,
Representing the Fairfield Theater Company and Make Music Fairfield.
well, we love both of those, and very important parts of our community.
Oh, good. Can I just jump in on that, Sam Goldstein? I actually created the Fairfield Theater Company in 2006. The initiative that I put together I brought in 165 different artists to develop the brand of where it is today. So thank you for continuing on the legacy. That's great. So that's at least one of it.
Yeah, Charlie, yeah. I was actually on the RTM when we voted on that deal.
Yeah.
And it was a foreign concept, I remember. Everybody was like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And now look at it.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when we started that, yeah.
I know. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So I'm very excited about being on the committee, and there's so much in the community that we have to really develop it. So I'm very excited. And Nancy, hello. I'm waving at you. You can't see, I'm not on camera, yeah. Yes.
All right, well, if there's no additional, I'll open it up to the board. Is there any comments, questions?
Nancy, go ahead.
Yeah, I certainly do. I'm thrilled. I am not surprised at the outpouring of interest for this commission. My day job, as many of you know, is working in the arts, and I value the importance that the arts play in fostering the health and safety and well-being of a community. I think that there are great opportunities before you as a commission. I'm so excited about this commission and about the specific people that ended up on it today. But, we could have filled this in 9 different ways and been as successful as I know you will be, because there is such a wide berth and dearth of experience and people interested in the arts. And what I tried to do initially when I put forward the people that I thought would make great candidates today was really just kind of cross the gamut of experiences and professional backgrounds. And I think we arrived at a great place. And I was very grateful for the input, because I think that goes to show what can happen when we all collaborate in this way. I would encourage all the people that are not on this official list to stay engaged, because there's no shortage of things to be done and no shortage of opportunity. And I'm thrilled. I'm excited. One of the things that got me excited about becoming a select person was to be involved in this kind of work. So that it's coming to fruition towards the end of my tenure is just a great gift. And I look forward to working with you after my time is up here. So good luck. Thank you all so much. And I'm excited to be able to vote yes for all of you participating today.
Thank you, Nancy.
I'd like to thank all of you for stepping up to serve. And more importantly than serving on an established commission, you're creating something new. So really, you're going to set the precedent by what you do and how you manage this commission for commissions going forward that take over for you. So as you do that, think of that and the everlasting impact you can have on the town and moving this subject forward for everybody involved. So best of luck. Thank you, and get to work.
Well, thank you. And if there's no further comments from the board and none from the public,
I assume we'll be hearing about how to get to action at some point.
yes.
Tomorrow.
Excellent. So I'm gonna have to run out pretty quickly to.
Okay, we're gonna vote, and then you can run. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Jennifer will be in contact, and Mark,
Perfect.
right?
Thanks.
Mark, poor Mark, he gets everything.
I'll be fine shortly.
Yes.
Hey, good to see you, Charlie.
See you. Thank you.
Good to see you, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, say hey to your wife.
Oh, thank you.
Careful.
It's so shocking they don't want to stay and listen to the rest of what we've got going.
They don't realize what a gripping meeting we have.
Yeah. Well, I would like, before we dive into it, we have an intern from Ludlow, our senior, who's interning in my office, Aniket, and he's been coming with me to sidewalk reviews with residents, and, he's just been having the best frontal view of government. And he's like, I want to attend a Board of Selectmen meeting. I was like, oh, you do? Okay. And actually, tomorrow night, he just told me on the way down, he's attending the Board of Finance meeting. So this young man is really, really getting in there, so. Learning a lot. Probably will never want to be involved in government in his life after this. Okay. The next item is Harbor Management Commission. Can I get a motion to approve George Harris on the Harbor Management Commission, and he's going to be replacing Sam, and he was an alternate to replace Jeffrey Warren. So can I have a motion to approve?
Wait, I'm sorry, so, my
No,
apologies.
this is not Sam, I'm sorry. This is the alternate.
Okay,
Motion to approve?
so moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, and George, I believe George? Hey, George, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Is there any questions from the board?
I don't. Thank you, Mr. Harris,
Sir.
for agreeing to serve.
Yeah, and thank you. Can you clarify, this is a position was an alternate and is now a full-time position?
Correct.
Okay.
No.
No.
This is.
No, this is an alternate. It says right in the agenda, to replace Jeffrey Warren. who's being moved to full member. It says it right on your agenda.
Oh, I see. Okay, I just got, but it's an okay. And Jeffrey Warren is replacing Sam Carr. I got it. Sorry, I was confused. I just was misreading it.
Okay. George, you want to say anything, or is there any?
No, 35-year resident here in Fairfield, 3 boys that have gone through the public school system. One worked for Mr. Flynn for a little while, Christopher.
Oh, yeah.
So, and they're all happy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Well, thank you for stepping up. Appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
If there's no further comment from the board, is there any comment from the public on this item? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
My best to your son, too.
Thank you.
The next item is, can I get a motion to approve, Jeffrey Warren of Parkwood Road? He's the one who's replacing Sam. And this term runs, to 11/23.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, Sam was gonna be here, but maybe he got held up. Jeffrey, is Jeffrey here? Sam was supposed to come earlier, but, all right, so, is there any discussion or comments on this item? Seeing none? Any comments from the public? Back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Our next item is, can I get a motion to approve Mark Barnhart to be on the Western Regional Tourism District Board of Directors? Can I get a motion first, and then we can talk about it?
So moved. So I'll second it.
So, Mark, do you want to know why we need to do this? You could probably do a better job of it than I.
The Western Regional Tourism District is one of the several regional tourism districts established under Connecticut's general statute. They have, my office has been participating in meetings all for the last several years to keep ourselves abreast of what's going on regionally in the tourism area, and I've brought that information back to our local tourism committee. They indicated that in order for us to continue to participate, we would need to have someone appointed officially, and the method by which to do that is through action on the Board of Selectmen. So I put my name forward to continue to represent the town of Fairfield in this respect.
Go ahead.
What do you guys actually do? What is the benefit to the town of this?
Well, they do get funding through the state. So the regional tourism districts administer those dollars for promotion, marketing and promotion of tourism venues throughout the state, hospitality. And so there is that which goes on. So it's really about promoting our tourism venues throughout the state.
Have we here in Fairfield seen any benefit of this?
Not a great deal, but some.
Certainly expanding reach, promotional reach.
I mean, the Western Regional District was combined between Litchfield and Fairfield County. There used to be larger tourism districts represented, and so the Western Regional is now combined tourism board, and I think because it's located in Litchfield area, Danbury, that area, northern Fairfield County, Litchfield County, the focus still is that way, I think, to some degree, so we're trying to change that to make sure that we get appropriate representation in lower Fairfield County.
So is this something you work with Mr. Jaley on, and then
Yes.
you'd work with our newly formed Arts Commission on as well?
We will, yes.
Nancy, do you have anything?
I'm set. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Is there any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board.
Anyone want to talk against Mr. Park?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Mark. Sorry. Okay, item 5, can I get a motion, to hear and consider and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Director of Community and Economic Development? Resolved that the applications received under Neighborhood Assistance Act program are hereby approved, and that the Director of Community and Economic Development is hereby designated as a municipal liaison of the town of Fairfield for this program. Motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
I'll open it up. Mark?
Okay, for the record, Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development. As you know, the town's been a participant of this program for a number of years now. This provides, really community nonprofits and municipal agencies an opportunity to receive cash contributions from businesses, and in return, those businesses can receive from the state a tax credit for those donations that are made. So it's really a win-win all the way around in terms of providing some funding support for local nonprofit organizations and for the businesses themselves that provide those donations. They can claim a tax credit against their corporate state tax liabilities. There are no local dollars involved. Our obligation is simply to solicit applications from municipal agencies and community groups that are interested in the program, conducting a public hearing, which we had last week on Thursday, and then presenting through the board to the RTM for their final approval before it goes to the State Department of Revenue Services by the July 1st deadline. We also have to designate a municipal liaison to the program, which traditionally has been the Director of Community Economic Development. This year, we received 6 applications. I provided a summary of that in your packet. Many of these organizations are probably very familiar to you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
What were the total dollars that you received? I can't remember.
Well, we don't actually receive any dollars.
I mean,
so
not you, but that
they're requesting anywhere between $20,000 to $57,000 is being requested. Now, they'll probably not receive all of that. Typically, we see donations in the order of $50,000 to $60,000 a year on this program.
Thank you, Mr. Barnhart.
Nancy, do you have anything?
I don't, thank you.
Okay. Is there any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Thanks, Mark.
We'll stay right here.
Boy, we appointed in this stuff now.
Very sorry. Okay, can I get a motion to hear and consider and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Director of Community and Economic Development? Resolved that the program year 49 through October 1, 2023, September 30th, 2024, Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan B hereby is approved in the amount of $537,000, which includes entitlement grant funds of $492,327 and program income of $44,673. And further resolved that Brenda L. Kupchak, first Selectwoman of the town of Fairfield, be and hereby is authorized to execute any and all necessary documents to facilitate the town's receipt of these funds and participate in the CDBG program. I always mess that up. Motion, please.
So moved.
I'll second it.
You're up, Mark.
Okay, again, for the record, Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development. The town has been a recipient of federal dollars under the Community Development Block Grant Program since the inception of the program back in 1974. We solicit applications, again, under this program. Before you is our proposed allocation plan for the program year 49, which begins on October 1st of this year, runs through the following September. Should be September 2024 in the memo to you. We do need to follow a citizen public participation plan, so we've had several public hearings on our community development housing needs. This also needs to be in accordance with our 5-year consolidated plan. Generally, the program does provide flexible dollars that we can use to meet a variety of community development, affordable housing needs in the community, but we do need to make sure that it meets one of 3 primary objectives and also is qualified to receive federal dollars, which we go through that process. So this year, for the upcoming year, we're actually expecting a decrease of funds, slight decrease over the current year. We've attempted to insulate the public service recipients from those cuts for the most part by using program income dollars that we can use to supplement the entitlement grant funds that we receive. And before you is the funding request, which is largely consistent with what we've approved in years past in terms of the breakdown of funds. Again, happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Thank you, Mark. Open up to the board. Are there any questions?
So these funds go to these individual organizations, and they administer them as though they're just part of their annual budget?
Well, we serve as the fiduciary, so we will have to administer the dollars on behalf of HUD and report back on the activities. They need to provide us with, our department with reports that indicate they've achieved the outcomes that they were proposing in our plan. And, you know, we serve essentially as the fiduciary for HUD to ensure those dollars are spent in accordance with federal guidelines.
Have we had any issues?
No. Otherwise, you know, if we had issues, we would not be recommending these same agencies.
Okay. Thank you.
Nancy?
Sorry, I'm in a wonky Wi-Fi area, which is why my video is off. I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Is there any comments from the public on this item? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor? Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Mark. Mr. Cattell. Can I get a motion to consider and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Assistant Director of Public Works, to consider and act upon the attached resolution recommended by the Assistant Director between the Town of Fairfield, South Central Connecticut Regional Water Authority to confirm participation in the Regional Household Waste Collection Center, and you can see the attached resolution. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Cattell.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations in order. Your son got married?
This was the bachelor party. This was a fun time.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Well,
That's another couple months.
all right, well, I hope you had fun.
I had an excellent time down in Georgia.
Awesome, very good.
All
right.
So this is a resolution, the town's been part of this since 1990. They asked for a 3-year resolution. The only change that I've made was to, instead of committing for a 3-year period as a minimum, to commit for the next year with 2 1-year period options. Basically, the town has its own, hosts its own house waste collection once a year, and this facility up in New Haven allows people and residents to take it up there on Saturdays between 9 and 12. And MetroCog was talking about trying to get other communities together to do something similar, so that's why I limited it to the 1-year minimum commitment.
Thank you. Open up the board.
Terry, you came before us last year with this previously, didn't you?
No, I did not. This was we just finished a 3-year.
3 years.
And I've only been here 2 years.
Okay, I'm trying to remember, there was something similar. What I don't see here is a price, a cost to us.
The price is based on a percentage of the 17 towns that it's broken into two portions. One's an operating cost and the other one's an actual disposal cost. So we I ended up budgeting, $61,000 in the budget for FY '24. I think they actually had a little bit more, but our trend has been lately to come down in our number of participation.
Yeah.
So it's based on their budget is, that they're projecting is a budget of almost $145,000 as an operating cost and $463,000 for waste disposal and another $10,000 for oil, so.
That's
That's what they propose as a budget that they start out. So ours.
For us?
No, this is the whole
That's
group.
what I thought.
And then what they do is there's 17 towns.
Yep.
And based on the number of one and two, family residents, which Fairfield picks up about 9% of that, cost, is your operating. So we pay about 9% of the 144, and then we pay based on how many residents we actually go, which makes up that total of 463.
So what's our total, in our current budget?
In our current budget, I budgeted, for FY '24 of 61,000, I have that right here. I think it's about the $63,107.
That's what you budgeted?
Correct.
Say that again, 63?
63,107.
Yep.
And that was broken down by a, $16,900 and change, for operations, and then another $46,200 for, the household disposal, and then there's some police collection also.
Yeah, I think, I thought it was this one, and it might have been that, I've been around a while. It might have been that, but I'm not in the habit of making agreements that don't have the actual price points associated with it. So what I would propose to do is to, amend this to include that we agree to it up to a total cost of $63,107, which is the municipal, budgeted amount for it.
My only comment on that is if we have more people making disposals, do we then say, okay, you're no longer allowed to go this year?
No, I think you come back to us and ask for additional funds.
Okay.
I'm not giving it I'm just not approving an open-ended.
I just want to know which way you want to go with that.
Yeah. Does that cause a problem for you?
I'll make things work.
John, that's the way we've always done it, is the way we're doing it now, though, correct?
Yes.
The way it's been done
Yes.
always.
Yeah.
So why would we want to come back to the board for something like that? It doesn't,
Because they haven't told me how they calculate the price point. They haven't told me how much they're gonna charge me. I'm not signing an agreement that says that it's got an open-ended cost to it. We've got a municipal budget, I'll put it up to the budgeted cost, and if it comes back more, we can discuss it and understand the formula. Because otherwise, I don't know what I'm signing up for.
John,
Well,
I
I can provide you their budget projections and our percentages of what they figure.
And what we
I'm not gonna be
paid,
able to-
and what we've paid over the last several years. I mean, I'm sure you saw this as
Yeah.
the Board of Finance chairman. It was
And I've never
around
signed
the
a
same
con-
amount.
Yeah, and I've never signed a contract without knowing the price point. Never agreed to it. I mean, if you guys have the votes, you can go forward with it, that's fine. But I'm just
Well, it's not so much that, it's just, it's an unusual thing. It seems like it's just adding more work. But Nancy, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I think Tom makes a good point, so I don't know what that looks like, but I'm inclined to agree there.
So, John, what would this entail then? You be coming back constantly? I mean, what is this?
We get billed twice a year. We get billed, from July to December, and then from January to July. And I basically try and figure out, fortunately, our biggest, 2/3 of our usage is when we host our own, which is in August.
Right.
Right.
And then you get another, maybe 1/3 stragglers after that,
Right.
that will want to go up to New Haven and and perform it.
Some things. Do they check their IDs in their
I believe
location?
so,
Yeah,
as to what town, this way they know
I
what
hope
town.
so, yeah,
This way they know what town to charge
Right.
things to.
right.
So I mean, that's not how they've done it in the past 30 years, but if that's something that you want to put a restriction on, I will make things work.
Well, I get into a problem if we do, go ahead, Nancy.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, just because something's been done doesn't mean it's like the right approach moving forward. I think we have an opportunity to fix things that haven't worked. So if this is one of those areas where there could be an additional check and balance in place at relatively, little disruption, it's probably something that makes sense.
Here's the other problem I have with it, just from a governance standpoint, right? And it's not about making you come back if you work or come back multiple times. If you go through, the town bodies have approved $63,000 for this through the approval of the town budget. If you go back and overspend that, right, by the time you know you've overspent that, you will already have obtained the service, and we will be spending funds that hadn't been appropriated.
It's a budgeted number.
Right. So I would just feel comfortable saying, up to that number, we're fine. If we have to go substantially over that number, just come back. That's it.
Have we gone over that number?
No.
Right.
Not,
It should
well,
be.
in past years you've been up there where we've had 1,000. Back in FY 19, FY 20, your numbers were high. I've been bringing it down because that's been our trend.
I think that was because it was
So,
a
and I-
pandemic and
I
everyone
think
was cleaning out their garages.
Exactly.
They had a lot of free time.
And that's exactly
I think you're exactly right.
I mean, that's exactly my thought. I mean, FY 19, you had 894.
Yeah,
I think we peaked out in FY 21 where you had 1,108. So,
Right.
last year we're down to 624.
right.
So that's where I'm kind of keeping it, because I figure most people have cleaned out. You've had a lot of house turnovers where things got done.
Yeah, that too. Didn't even think of that.
And again, I'm not trying to make your life difficult. I'm trying to.
I am here to serve. If you need me to come back,
So basically, the amendment just says if he goes over the budgeted amount, he has to come back?
That's right.
All right, that's fine, make the amendment.
Yeah, that's what so I'll propose the amendment to this document, that we include the budgeted figure of 63,107 as the cap on spending, at which point, the WPCA can come back, if they need to go over this amount. It's WPCA, right?
no, it's not.
It's not, it's
Nope.
DPW?
DPW.
Yeah, my apologies. I thought it was WPCA,
So do you want to say what the exact
Water Authority.
amendment is?
That's kind of the exact amendment. I'll add to invoicing will be placed on a two-part formula and do that, right? And right under that, I would add the expense cap for the fiscal year 2024 is 63,107. Should, the service cost more than this, DPW should come back to the Board of Selectmen for approval.
Are you making a motion
Yes,
for amendment?
that's my motion.
Nancy, do you want to second it?
Yes, sorry, seconded. I'm, again, having trouble with the internet, but yes, second.
Okay. Is there any additional discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm going to vote no. Motion carries 2-1. All right, we're back to the main motion as amended. Is there any further discussion on the motion as amended? Any from the
No.
public? Back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Bill Hurley, you're up. Motion to have the town of Fairfield to receive grant funds from the Federal Emergency Management Agency in the amount of $256,335.95 as reimbursement for money to be spent as the town's Department of Public Works and their contractor in fiscal years 24 and 25 related to the infrastructure repair caused by the storm Ida, And whereas the town desires to appropriate the grant funds to the Department of Public Works to be used for said construction repairs. Now resolved, the town hereby appropriates grant funds to the Department of Public Works and authorizes those grant funds to be used for infrastructure repair purposes. Motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved, or seconded.
Okay, Bill?
Yeah, the remnants of Hurricane Ida deposited almost 4 to 6 inches of rain in the span of a few hours, resulting in stream and pipe overflows that caused damage to the town's infrastructure. After a year and a half of review with FEMA regarding the documentation of this damage, eligibility, and approved cost estimates, FEMA has granted formal acceptance of these repairs. FEMA has issued 4 project worksheet awards that total of $256,335.95. These projects involve stabilizing eroded slopes within the public right-of-way, culvert replacements, and a culvert bridge foundation repair. The projects are currently in permit review and contract bid process. FEMA has obligated these funds and formally awarded the funding for reimbursement of these projects. The proposal includes the 4 worksheets, which is the Verna Hill culvert replacement, Horse Tavern Brook retaining wall repairs, Twin Brooks Lane slope stabilization and material removal, and a group of 4 bridge culverts, Merwin's Lane, Governor's Lane, Hillside Road, and Greenfield Hill Road that are in need of some scour repair. The amount is based on the approved FEMA amounts for reimbursement, based on the means project cost and quantities confirmed in the field by FEMA and engineering, and with the help of Mega Jane as well. A lot of this stuff going back and forth, we had to work even after or off hours. But in a unique situation, because FEMA considers these as small projects, they're actually going to give us the reimbursement up front.
Thank you, Bill, and I want to just thank both of you for all the work you put in. You do a lot of overtime work on so many of these things, and it's so much work, and I appreciate all your efforts, both of you.
Thank you.
I'll open it up to the board. You have any questions on this item?
Well, I want to, if Nancy, I'll defer to you if you want to go.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'll echo the first Selectman statement. Thank you for all the efforts on items, particularly items such as these. Second of all, who identified these as things that need to be done?
The engineering department.
Okay, so it was you guys, and then you brought them to FEMA.
Yeah.
Said,
After the governor declared the
Yeah.
state of emergency, FEMA met with us about a year later, because obviously the other parts of the state were hit as well.
Yeah, we had to wait for that, too.
And so we had what they call like a kickoff or introductory meeting,
yeah.
and they, through the help of engineering and I should say DPW, there were a couple of projects that were identified. There was some that were very obvious and needed immediate replacement. DPW was able to do them first and then put the work orders and payment requests in, and they got them paid.
Which goes to my next question, Bill. Are these already done, or do we have?
No, these ones aren't. They're 2 different, good
Right.
point, though. They're 2 different phases. The ones that mainly DPW did emergency repair, ones that maybe police and fire, you know,
Right.
called out of, you know, maybe the road was washed out. We did them immediately, and you get paid based on kind of like time and materials.
Right.
You know? And then the next group were ones that we had to find. We actually had a list of like 8 of them, and 4 of them were deemed ineligible by FEMA. But these 4 project work orders were deemed eligible, and so we'll now be going out to bid and getting the money.
My last question on this,
Sure.
So they came up with this very specific number. What happens if the number's off and they're more expensive? Are you coming back to us for funds, or how does that work?
According to them, but we still have to go through the whole, you know, audit process and document everything. If we're, say, 20,000, where we get more money than what we spent, I believe we keep that money. That's what we were told, but I would still, you know, dot the I, cross the T to make sure that's the case. If we do go over, as I said, we have it pretty well defined, but if we do go over, we have 10% that we could use for a DPW share as a contingency as well, so.
Thank you, sir.
Nancy, do you have anything?
I just want to echo the thanks, especially for storms that some of us have kind of been able to move on from, and you obviously are still stuck in it, as are some residents impacted. So just thank you very much for your ongoing support and work with this.
Thank you.
Is there any, questions from the public, or, comment? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, everyone. Sure.
Thank you.
All righty. Our next item, can I get a motion to hear and consider and approve a resolution appropriating $148,000 for the costs related to uses of the Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Fund and the COVID Local Fiscal Recovery Fund?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Nancy? Okay, very good. We have Jared, on the WebEx. We have our bond counsel, Mr. Sastrom, Attorney Sastrom, and we also have Chief Calamars, in the room with Captain Wyatt.
So I'll just give an overview. This is Jared Schmidt, CFO, for the record. So we had, as we came to the board a couple months ago with some additional ARPA projects, and this is another installment of two, $148,000 in total. There's $40,000 for the History Museum to update the main display that they have in the museum, and then $108,000 for safe corridors. This leaves a balance of about $1,350,000 of unallocated ARPA funds that could still be used. And so we are, we'll continue to entertain other ideas for other projects, and also keeping an eye on some of the projects that we're doing to make sure that none of them are going over. So we still have a balance there to be able to accommodate anything that might go over.
So just to clarify a little bit, to make it easier to understand, so as you know, we still have a balance of funds due to the fiber optic we didn't do. And just a reminder, we originally had, Michael, was it 400,000? 400,000 appropriated to the History Museum for a permanent stage. They put up a temporary one every summer for their events. And they wanted a permanent stage and then some permanent bathrooms because they used porta-johns. And so that was rejected by the town bodies. So the History Center kind of got left out of the ARPA situation. And Michael came to me to talk about how they're redoing the exhibit at the History Center. And I actually had an opportunity last weekend or the weekend before to be there for something else, and he gave me a sneak preview. It's about Native Americans, which is, I think, is really wonderful, and he's raising a lot of money for it, and I thought it would be important for the town to chip in a little toward that end, considering they didn't get any of the ARPA funds. And then Chief Calamars can talk about the money we are going to use, the remaining money on the cameras. Go ahead.
Sure. So the Fairfield Police Department several years ago implemented a strategic plan with, in coordination with the Bridgeport Fusion Center for a surveillance camera system, which has been very, very successful over the last couple of years. And taking a page out of the Fusion Center's book, because I won't take credit for their successful program, they started a Safe Corridors to School, in which they strategically place cameras on or near the corridors to school to provide for an early detection system that would assist in mitigating any potential threats to the school system. I'm sure many of you have the backups to the program. This is in coordination with the Fusion Center. They have the opportunity, in addition to our officers and our Detective Bureau, have an opportunity to monitor and receive notifications from the automated intelligence system of the cameras, which has, as I said earlier, we have seen an incredible success rate with those, with the current infrastructure we have. We currently have 12. We're looking to augment that program by 18 additional, and we think it is going to continue to be successful for the program that we have in place currently.
Can you please for me define what, when you say it's been very successful, what has it done? Like, what's the output that you get that, and I don't want you to betray any.
No, yeah, so, you know, in minding, I guess some, you know, without going too deep into it, I'll give you some anecdotal scenarios where we had a camera put out a notification at 2 o'clock in the morning where a burglar attempted to burglarize 6 businesses in the downtown area. We were able to not only get the notifications in a timely fashion, but then have a police response to that, you know, to those notifications at the time that they occurred, as opposed to after the fact. Similarly, as I said, the Bridgeport school system has implemented something similar to this in their safe corridors to school. You know, let's say, for example, if we had a child custody incident where someone or one of the parents is maybe detected near the school or going by the school and has no business being there, that would give us an early warning system to implement a response for that individual.
So when you say but safe corridors towards the schools, it's obvious by your example, this isn't just used for school incidents. These are placed in proximity to schools to help protect the schools more so.
That's correct.
But they're also used for other police activities, like you mentioned, a burglary or something of the like.
That is accurate. Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Nancy, do you have anything?
I don't have any comments on the specifics of this. It's mine are more broad, so I'll just make my comment after the fact.
Okay, very good. Okay, if there's no further questions from the board, I'll open it up to the public if there's any comment. Seeing none. Back to the board.
Can I ask, I don't know, Nancy, when you want to go, I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Jaley, the new exhibit you're going to do, thank you, Chair.
Sure, my pleasure.
The new exhibit you're going to do, there's $40,000 in here for it. There's, the first select woman mentioned you're raising money for it. What's the total cost?
Yes, thank you. So for the record, Mike Jaley, Fairfield Museum. This exhibit replaces our main exhibition gallery. It's 400 plus years of the community's history. So the first select woman mentioned Native American history, and that's just a small component. It's really the main attraction for all of our school groups for the 30,000 visitors that come to the museum. The entire project cost is about $260,000. We are $75,000 short of that goal currently.
Okay. And the thought is that this, is that 75 short? Will this 40 bring that to 35 short?
Correct.
So the thought is by putting in the 40, it'll make getting the 35 easier because it will show the town's commitment to it.
Correct.
What's the timing of this?
It is slated to open up in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, that's an interesting thing. So you're still going to be paying for it in arrears, is that the deal?
That happens in the nonprofit world.
Yeah.
Yes, we have some cash reserves that we've allocated to keep the project on schedule. And obviously our goal is to try to pay that back.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jaley.
Thank you.
Nancy, did you want to say something before we vote it?
No, it's just more about, the comment about having, excess funds and understanding that we still have, to make sure that things are covered. There were some exchanges with residents asking about, the use of funding for the racial equity, the DEI consultant. I know there's been some movement made there. I think it would just be great to have an update on that end. So it's slightly tangential, but knowing that there's no shortage of things that we could use this funds for, I just don't want us to forget that DEI work and the consultant and all the things that have been discussed and I don't want to say promise, but sort of put out there as things that would happen. It would be great to get an understanding of where that is. So, as I said, not specific to this item.
You get cut off. I think, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I don't know if my comments were heard that last.
No, I heard most of it. If you want to talk more about that at, under new business, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, that's what I
But
said.
if there's
So
any item, any
not
more
specific
comment
to
on this
this. No.
specific item?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay, all right, very good. Is there any comment from the public? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Next, can I get a motion to hear, consider, and adopt a bond resolution entitled, "A Resolution Appropriating $2,377,000 for the purchase of vehicles and equipment for the Department of Public Works and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation."
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, I'll open the item up as, we have, Attorney Stafstrom, Mr. Cattell, and Jared. And does anybody want to briefly, Jared, do you want to,
Sure.
or do you want, John?
Yeah, I can give a quick overview. This is, following the same model that we did almost 3 years ago to do a 3-year funding plan for the capital equipment, and you'll see the details of it in your backup. So they have listed there the items that they would need. After talking to Attorney Stafstrom, we talked about the service life of each of the equipment and settled on doing a total of a 15-year bond. We do a 15-year bond for these. So that's what the authorization would be for, to kind of capture the average service life of all the items in there. And then I'll let John Cattell talk about the details of the equipment.
So, basically continuing and, getting rid of our old rusty and, unsafe equipment and replacing it with the new according to a 3-year, period here that the bond, amount is for. In the backup, I think it broke down how much was each year that we're replacing. The town was wise enough to get a good jump start initially the last 3 years where we replaced a lot of our major dump vehicles that we use for plowing. Now we're able to reduce the number of those plow trucks down to about 1 to 2 a year, and then replace some of our heavier equipment, our payloaders, our lift bucket trucks, wheel loaders, and garbage truck. If you have any specific questions.
Yeah, is there any more to the presentation by anybody else? Just, I don't want to interrupt anybody.
Jared, do you have anything? Go ahead, John.
Thank you. I would just add that we had this discussion 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we discussed doing this, and I think that the DPW department made a compelling case that, you would authorize a list of projects, but not put a specific amount on each item, since it was it was unclear, at the time you adopted the bond resolution, how much each piece of equipment would cost, and when would be the best time to bid for that, given the time lag in getting some of this equipment. And so I think I just want to reiterate what Jared said earlier. This resolution is in the same form that the board decided was the way to go, last time we did this.
I do have questions.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Sastrom, and I'm going to assume that the bond is, the resolutions and that are all inappropriate and consistent with past similar type bond resolutions?
As always, Mr. Flynn.
Yeah. Jared, these are all consistent with kind of what's been in the budget, what's been approved in the capital plans and the like?
Yes, they are.
The question I have is more so, and you nailed it at the beginning, I'm kind of choking on the 15 years. So I see that everything here, with the exception of one item, is a replacement. How old are the items that it's replacing?
It varies based on hours also for your heavier equipment. We have I'll go through some of these things where you got a rack body, that's a 2008.
Okay, so where would that be as compared to?
That'd be, unit number 211.
211. Okay, so that made 15 years. That's on the flatbed with a lift gate.
Yep.
Yeah, what about the others, if you don't mind?
Nope, I'll go through them. Let's see, 161, which I'll go try and do that one. That's a 2006.
Okay, 17 years.
And let's see, 164, which is in the middle, which is a dump truck. That's 2007.
16 years.
We have the unit 54, which is a bucket lift. That's a 2015. Generally in that industry where you're talking bucket lift trucks, after 10 years, you start getting into higher maintenance expenses. You know, you got a piece of equipment that you're 75 feet up in the air.
So that's 8 years?
Let's see, well, let me see what year it's scheduled for.
2015.
Yeah, 2015 year, but it's not scheduled till farther out.
Yeah.
If you look at that portion of it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Moving along, we got, give me a second. Our garbage truck's, 2015. That's a vehicle that's out 7 days a week. Yeah.
No, I understand.
So we're looking at some of the, those items as far as usage.
Yeah, but that's only 10, that again, I'll give you 2 years, that's 10 years. I'm just choking on the 15 years, Jared.
So I can, looking at the past life is one way to look at this. We also, knowing that they have this new plan in place, that they'll be used more efficiently now. And so we were doing a projection of the new vehicles and the life of the new vehicles and how long they would last. And I can, give you some sense of that. There were a lot of them that are 18 to 20 years, 18 years. There are a few that are, projected to last about 10 years, but
which are the ones projected to last 10 years? I'll say the bucket lift.
Your bucket lift, and your backhoe, and your garbage truck.
Which is your garbage truck out here? I'm sorry.
That's a Isuzu. Hold on a second, and I just have it here a second.
That's in
260. I think.
260, yeah.
Okay, what are the values of those three items? How much of this is those three?
Let's see. Refuse truck is about 180,000.
Okay.
Backhoes, about $180,000.
Okay.
And the loader is about $250,000.
That's, which one is that? Okay, the load. So,
No, the loaders are 18 years. The backhoe, I'm sorry, backhoe bucket truck. The bucket truck is, 260.
I would also add, as part of the analysis, because Jared and I discussed this, that as you know, when we issue a 15-year bond, not all of the bonds are issued to be, the principal be paid at the end of the 15th year. We issue them so that, on a schedule, so that some of the bonds are paid off earlier. So when he and I looked at this, we did decide that these were not 20-year bonds for sure, because very few of these are going to last past 20 years. But then on a 15-year schedule, there certainly were some that would last longer than 15 and some that would be perhaps might be slightly shorter than that.
right.
So if you look at the total, Tom, it looks like about $620,000 of the total amount would be 10-year, 10-year vehicles.
So roughly 26% of this. And the rest you're saying is 15 years and above?
Yeah, most of them are 18 to 20.
Most of your trucks, they'll be 18 to 20. Your loaders, 20.
Is that right?
Your chipper, 20.
All right. Okay. I can get there with that. Thank you for indulging me.
Always welcome.
Nancy, do you have anything?
No, I'm just back. I stepped away for work. I heard most of that. I have no further questions.
Very good, thank you. Is there any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board.
Given that this is a plan, given that we just went through the relative ages, and that this is consistent with the plan, I'm inclined to approve it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. Sastry.
See ya.
See ya. All right, moving right along. Can I get a motion to, hear and consider and approve funding for up to $70,000 from the WPCA fund balance for the purchase of an effluent building transformer? Motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Items on the table, Mr. Bodie is here. Thank you, Mr. Bodie.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And then there was one.
Aren't you lucky?
I'm gonna go back to come forward. This replacement was on our radar last year. We actually had a PO set up for it early in the year, probably by February or March. The problem was we could not find a replacement, a refurbished unit, a new unit, anywhere. So the plan was to purchase a new transformer for another part of the plant that was incorporating the microgrid. And the thought was, if this one fails, the one we take out could be used as a spare. Well, we did that, and in February, this transformer failed. So we were able to take the 20-year-old unit that we had replaced and put it in its place. So the thought is now to replace this 20-year-old replacement with a refurbished unit. The refurbished unit is $68,000. Comes with a 3-year warranty. We can have that in 6 to 8 weeks. A brand new one is $74,000, has a 1-year warranty, and that is 325 days or a year out. So we are opting for the refurbished unit, and we will also get a payment of $4,500 for the old unit from the people we're buying the refurbished one from.
Does that 45, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Hi, John. It's a math question.
Hi.
Just to clear, hi, nice to see you. Sorry I'm not there to say
Nice
hello
to
in
see you.
person. The refurbished, or the sale price of the one we're selling, does that get taken away from the 70, or is that in it, that sort of takes into account?
The 68,000 that we're paying for the refurbished doesn't have anything to do with the 4,500 we're getting. That has not been included in any price.
So it's just like a little get back. It's not that it offsets.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, obviously getting 3 years and right away is, for me, a better alternative than a year out.
Yeah, to get 3 years on a refurbished is like, and only a year on a new one. I don't understand that, but.
Yep, there we are. Yep.
And without this-
I support this.
And without this, the whole thing can come down, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could last 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, we don't know. But it's a 20-year-old unit that was in service up until last December.
Yep. Okay, I'm good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
If there's
nothing
no
further.
further questions from the board, is there any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. All right. One more. Water pollution, okay. Can I get a motion to hear, consider, and approve funding for up to $125,000 from the WPC fund balance for the purchase of a trailer-mounted generator? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded.
Hi, John.
Hi. The WPCF has 11 generators, 3 permanently mounted at the plant, 5 permanently mounted at pump stations, and we have 3 trailer-mounted units for the other 3 pump stations. We are a little more reliant on emergency power. If we don't have the emergency power, we're in a pickle. Case in point was last May, a brand-new generator that was provided to the Easton Turnpike upgrade failed. It took a year to get the parts needed. The warranty covers parts and labor, does not cover a rental generator. Rental generator cost for 1 year, setup, delivery, and everything from May to May was $82,326. Cummins, who provided the generator during the upgrade, ate that cost. They covered it for us because we're a good customer, a good client. In conjunction with that, we were still doing the microgrid project. The pump station behind the dog pound was not powered because of a transformer we were waiting for the RAS building. So we rented another generator for
how much is it?
For 12 months.
Oh, perfect.
We got a good deal on that.
Nancy, you're not on mute.
So we rented another generator. We got a good deal on that one, but that cost us $26,616. Having a trailer-mounted 250 kW generator, we can cover every pump station if there's a failure, if there's a long-term need. We'll be doing upgrades to pump stations. We won't have to rely on the contractor to provide a rental while they're doing it. We can power up part of the treatment plant that is not on generator power, and that was engineered when we had the upgrade. So that's a benefit there. And then it's also available, if we're not using it, for anybody else within the town to utilize should the occasion arise.
Anybody else in the town, maybe someone else in town government?
Yes, town government, yes, yes.
I got a couple questions here.
Sure, go right ahead.
Jared, is Jared still on?
Yeah.
What, or Madam First Selectwoman, maybe you know, is, WPCA not eligible for, I can't recall whether we did anything with them with the ARPA funds? Did we not, or are they not eligible, or what?
No, they are eligible.
Did we do anything?
No, because they have their own projects and they have a large fund balance. No, we
How
didn't.
much is the fund balance now, though, Jared, after all these appropriations back?
It's about $14.5 million.
After all of this?
Yeah, I mean, these two are pretty minimal, in the overall, in the grand scheme of things, but after some of the, other ones that have been expensed, yeah, it's about $14.5 million.
After everything else that's been expended?
After all the other ones, yep. Right.
Okay. All right, that's higher than I thought it was. I was just thinking this is the type of thing that definitely screams out for kind of ARPA.
Look, I mean,
funding.
it's, that's as of today, so, it changes every day. So tomorrow or next week, it could be less than that, depending on when collections were done, when expenses are hitting. So, but that's where it is as of today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the ARPA funds that if WPCA had something like this, it just seems like a natural
Yeah.
for that kind of area. We can take it out of this fund for now and maybe talk about it separately. I'm okay.
Nancy, are you good?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, is there any comment from the public online? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
You go ahead.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
You too.
I unfortunately am gonna have to leave at 5:30. I was just told
Okay,
that, as you can
Tom
hear,
just
yeah,
left the room, so I'm kind of,
yep,
I mean, we
understood.
could just do the tax collector. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Motion, to consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $28,373.52.
So moved.
I'll second. Do you have any discussion on this item?
I don't.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, and then, this is new business. Did you want to discuss this item now, Nance? That you were trying to talk about before?
Yeah, just to put on, just to request that at a date fairly soon in the future, if you could talk about the updates to the DEI work, what happened with the consulting, how that all fits in, and what's been happening since would be great.
Right, I think, you did communicate with, the HR director. We have secured someone, and I think is really good. And his name is, Maurice Nelson, and he's the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer at Sacred Heart University. And we had to go through a process, where we had to put it out, and, I'm glad he came in. He seems really good. So he's been in, he's met with Kathleen and Joanne, and he's been reviewing the, blueprint, and that's where we are right now.
Okay, and if we could hear from him publicly, that would just be my request. Just, yes, I had
Right,
talked
I
to
mean,
Kathleen
I
about
want
this.
to give him a chance. Yeah, I
Yep.
want to give him a
But
chance to buckle in and be ready.
Yeah. And I know people are looking forward to the opportunity to ask questions and so that's great. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, so, I'll just say that, we had a very busy Memorial Day weekend. We were fortunate to have really amazing weather, actually. And I want to say it was the largest attendance of our Memorial Day parade in recent memory. It was an honor to, Tom and I marched along, beside our veterans, memorializing the brave and who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Before that, on Saturday, we had the Sea Memorial, which is a very actually solemn, memorial, which I think is always important because the parade is fun and enjoyable, but again, to meet, to gather with our veterans and families and members of our community to have a solemn ceremony, which is what Memorial Day really is, was very, as it is every year, very lovely and, in a good, activity for our community to do. And I was, invited to speak at the annual Memorial Day service mass at Assumption Church. And it was a Memorial Day Mass, which is always a very good event. And then on this past Saturday, we had a Walk a Mile in Our Shoes, which was rescheduled from April because they had rain that in April, and it was a very good event. It always raises awareness, lots of fun. Also, we had the marching band, and it's always fun to watch men try to walk down the street in high heels. My particular favorite. Enjoy watching that. And still been asking Chief Calamaris if he's going to strap on a pair, but he tells me absolutely not. So not even ballet slippers, he's not interested. And then on Sunday, I was invited to kick off the 43rd annual half marathon at Jennings Beach, and it was good. A lot of our firefighters volunteer, so a lot of that money goes toward the Fairfield Firefighter Foundation, and all of the money, the rest of the money goes to charitable groups. So it was good to be down there, and it was perfect weather for the runners, that's for sure. It was not hot, which I'm sure they all appreciated. And does anybody else have any other new business? If we don't, we do have an executive session to go into. Do you have anything, Nancy?
No, thank you.
Do you have any?
All good.
Okay, very good. All right, so I will ask for a motion to go into an executive session with Attorney Baldwin, pending litigation, Roll versus Town of Fairfield.
So moved.
Nice meeting you. Good luck to your internship.
You coming in tomorrow? You're in tomorrow? Okay, but don't worry about it, just put it on top.
Better be in every day. You know that.
See you, thank you. Did he, seconded? Okay.
Nancy did this first.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you know how to shut,
Yep, I'm gonna just let me,
because we have, I don't know who those calls are.
okay, let me do my thing.
Attorney Baldwin, is anyone else besides you supposed to be on?
No.
Were they signed on from somewhere else?
They were in the lobby.
They're downstairs, actually, he's, doing it from downstairs. I think we're back now.
That's fine, that's all you need.
Yeah, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session, private executive session.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion. There was no votes taken in executive session. I'm going to make a motion to proceed with the handling of the matter as recommended by the town attorney.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it. Bye all. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I said,
We're
yep,
done.
aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All
Good
right,
night, everybody.
bye.
All right.